Hey, good afternoon, Al. I think we would like to start on time. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sudhakar. I'm the senior partner account manager. We today would be driving AI-driven campus and experimental healthcare journey, which Juniper is going to take for next decade. Um, Today, I have Malai, who's going to present from Juniper side on a couple of subjects, and Shikar Power as a senior engineer as well. So, along with me, I have Nandita, who's our colleague, who's a who's a marketing head for India, and our partner would be GBS here. So I would not take much of time here. Juniper is getting into a different kind of step, way ahead of other OEMs across, I would like to say, around ahead of 12 months with AI-driven strategies for 2022. That's the reason we are having this webinar. And that's all from our side. I would like to hand it over to my team to take it forward with this webinar. And at last, we would have a Q&A session as well. Thank you. Over to you, Malay.
Hey, thanks, Sudhakar, and thanks to all the participants for taking your time off and listening to this webinar, attending this webinar, and right. So, just a question: can you see my screen?
Yes,
Can
Malay,
somebody
we can.
confirm whether you can see me?
Yes, yes, we
Perfect.
can.
Yes, yes.
So, my topic for this presentation is the network for the next decade, right? So, does it sound a little marketing word? But actually not. Let me tell you a story behind this, how it came from, the network for the next decade, right? So this came a couple of years back when the world's one of the largest logistic company, they came to Mist. So at that point of time, the acquisition hasn't happened yet, right? And they came to Mist for upgrading their network. And the network architect, when he was asked, so why to look into some company which is missed, not ever, no one has ever heard of that point of time, and replace your existing, you know, big players like Cisco and Aruba. So that gentleman, he said, "Ki, if I continue with the Cisco and Aruba of the world, I will be using a network which is running for last 10 years. But I want to have a network for the next decade, right? And that is the best representation of our solution or our messaging, which came from one of our customer. It came even before acquisition, and we continued with that wording, which is a customer's wording, the network for the next decade. Now, this is a AI-driven network. This is completely cloud native, means it is born on the cloud and it's agile. So I will take you through this, how it looks like and how that particular customer is very, very happy about the decision that they took, right? And they continued with this particular solution, which was missed and then got acquired by Juniper in 2019. Uh, Yes. So I will just go to the next slide. Yeah. So just a brief description of this Juniper network. All of you who are not aware of this, we are a global company and founded in 1996 by an IIT alum uh, and IIT Kanpur basically. And we are having presently 9,500 employee based out of multiple 50 countries, 50 plus countries, right? And we have a complete portfolio of networks that starts from your wired, wireless. Though we started initially for the for the service provider segment, but now 10 out of 10 Fortune 10 companies are with us. They are using our network. 20 out of 20 global largest cloud providers are with us. So not only service provider, we are also the cloud provider as well as the enterprise. And as you can see, 49 of the 50 the top global service providers are using Juniper gears. So you can see many of them, and we are headquartered at Sunnyvale. And last year, our uh, uh, revenue was more than around little less than $5 billion, and we have so many things. I will not get into spend much time. I will get into the next story of the how we built our solution, which we are calling it network for the next decade, right? So this journey started 7 years back when this two gentlemen, as you can see in this, Sujay Hajela and Bob Friday, they were they built this company called Mist, right? And then why they had to come out of a renowned company called Cisco. They're all from Cisco, as you can see, and build a new one, right? So again, there is a history on this, there's a small story behind that. In 2012, the Cisco acquired another company called Meraki. You might have heard of that. And Meraki it was very simple to operate, and it has it's all those advantages. And then the Cisco management asked Mr. Bob Friday, then why don't you? And Cisco is already having their own legacy solution, as you all you know, which is a controller based solution. And again, for your information, that controller based solution was designed and built by this gentleman called Bob Friday only. That architecture was done by him only. Now, he was given a task to integrate Mist and the Cisco together. And in 2014, this is the story of 2014, he was given this task, and by 2000, and he concluded within a couple of months that it is not possible. You have to take a clean slate. This marrying between Cisco's traditional network and the advantages and the simplicity brought by Meraki is not possible, right? You have to take a clean slate and you have to develop it all new. So so he came out and started the company called Mist in July 2014. And Sujay Hajela, who was at that point of time leading Cisco's enterprise business, which includes your routers, switches, and wireless, so which is the largest portfolio, he left Cisco and joined Bob Friday to build this story. And three critical customer issues they wanted to solve. As you can see it here, it was first thing is from as we all know, the network operations is always proactive. When customer or end user gives you a call, we say yes, we are looking into the problem. So that's a proactive approach. So from there we moved into a that's not a proactive approach, that's a reactive approach. So from the reactive to proactive, so we want to, your network should know what is going on in the network and how the users are experiencing the network. It is not only about keeping the lights on. Suppose your Wi-Fi signal is coming and you say yes, my Wi-Fi is up and running, but that is not the case today. How good the user is experiencing the network, right? We have to measure that. So that was the motto. Next thing is that the the network availability and the security of the network can be improved many folds using the cloud technology. So you have to use the cloud technology so that the security, for example, you are using a controller based solution, for let's assume, and the controller based solution will be having a, even if you are, you are deploying say two controllers for redundancy, but your software is same, and something came into the software, maybe some bug or maybe some new virus, right, new malware, which has found a lacuna in your system, and they try to get into your network, right? So how do you cover that security? You have to upgrade the software. And if it is a say 1000 ap big campus network, or maybe a multi-location network, say hundreds of sites, you know how difficult it is to upgrade all the controllers and you have to pray to the god that everything join, all the let all the controllers join back, right? And this is the reason, even if there is some issue in your network, the customers like you continue with the existing software. You don't go for upgrade if you are not 100% sure that this thing will network will come up and we will work like it, right? So so we want to avoid those situations. We want to improve the security of the network. So the availability and security that can be improved many folds by using the cloud architecture and completely eliminating the controllers. And the third thing is the evolving the network at the speed of connected endpoints. For example, today new IoT devices are coming into a network, and the IoT device, for example, a camera is connected to your Wi-Fi network, and if the camera is not getting a good network, he will never complain, right? Because it is not a human person who will complain to the IT operator and say that my connection is not good, right? So this is the problem, and your network has to understand this is whatever is going on in my system is good enough. The every endpoint is is getting a good signal, good experience overall, enough bandwidth, right? Good coverage. So those kind of things. So this was the motto of this. And then that was 7 years ago when this was started. And in 2019 Juniper acquired Mist. At that point of time, 2000, if you have a look in that quadrant, so Juniper was in the niche and Mist was somewhere here in this quadrant, which is your visionary quadrant. In 2020 we moved I can look into those report at your leisure, and we moved into visionaries. And then in the is today in this year in 2020 we were somewhere here in the leaders. But this year we are, you can see, we are the farthest among all the leaders, right? Both completeness of vision, which shows how good the solution is, we are the best, and the ability to execute, which shows how much uh, devices are delivered and executed and deployed into the industry, that both parameter we are much ahead than all other competition. Even we can see we are the leader in this as per Gartner, right? So this is what, and we achieved this in only 7 years. This is a phenomenal, hardly ever happened in networking industries. And after the acquisition, in couple of 2 years, actually, this has happened. 2 to 3, 19, and it's a little more than 2 years now. This is what, this is where we are as per Gartner. Now, it is not only the network, not only the wired and wireless, that was for the wired and wireless, but we are also leader for the data center and cloud networking for 3 years, 3 consecutive years. You can see we are on the leaders quadrant. We are positioned as a visionary for the WAN edge infrastructure, which is your uh, connection to the this part will be covered little in more by my colleague Srikar, who will be covering the uh, SD-WAN kind of solutions, whatever we are having. So that's that part. We are a challenger for the network firewall, right? As you can see here, and we are also a visionary. Even actually, we are placed farthest, as you can see here in the farthest right, even ahead of the leader for the. Uh, uh, this is for your location service, as you can see here. This is an indoor location service. So this is nothing, I'll talk a little more about this. This is something like your uh, a Google map inside, indoor Google map kind of solutions which we are having here. So you are having a complete coverage. As you can see, we are either leader or a challenger or visionary in the many of the areas of the networking which of your importance. And you can see in the next slide this recognition which we receive from our customers. It is not only we are positioned at the top, but also we got the responses from the largest enterprise of the network, and highest number of reference, like in the their peer reviews. This is a peer review record. So peer insight is something like whenever any customers they they buy Juniper, they can go to the Gartner's peer review website and they can give their experience. They can share their experience. And as you can see here, we have got 432 ratings. Again, this is the highest number among any of the any of our peers. And as you can see, we had more than 85% 5-star rating, right? 4.9. This is also the highest among all our competition. No one is having this kind of even for the firewall, we have got a 4.7 rating from the customer recognition. This shows how good the solution is and how what is the experience of the users who are actually using our firewall, our switches, right? Our Wi-Fi solutions, entire thing. So you can have a look at this. Now, going next, as I was discussing earlier, if you saw it here in this slide, you can see if your customer size, company size is small, and if you want an on-prem solution, if you on-prem solution that have small customer, maybe the Rakas kind of wireless Wi-Fi, right? It is now acquired by Arish or Arrowhead. So those are, it's okay to get into those, address those kind of customers who are not so big and who are on premise. Then Meraki was there, and Meraki again, when it came to the market, it did a lot of something new at that point of time. It was acquired by the same team acquired Mist. Is now they developed this company called Mist, right? The Meraki was acquired by Cisco, and the same team, they came out. I told this story earlier, and they built Mist, and they're good for what? They're good for small company, and this is a cloud managed. As you can see, it's a cloud managed system, right? And the largest enterprise in the world, usually they used to operate on Cisco's and Aruba's. They're the largest, and they use an on-prem kind of solution, on-prem Wi-Fi solution. Now there is a void here, which is a cloud managed, cloud operated for the small as well as for the large company. So that's where the Mist come in. So Mist, as you can see in this chart, so they're good for the large as well as small enterprises, and this is completely cloud driven, right? And it's a cloud managed and cloud operated, and it is driven by AI and ML, right? We'll look into that, how this solution is different than others, and what our how it is fundamentally different from two aspects. One is the user experience as well as the IT operators experience and the better IT outcomes. So as you can see, these are the figures from our customers, and these are measured figures. Okay, one of the top 10 top logistic company of the world, the mean time to repair was 48 hours. So whenever a call is logged, so you might measure these things. So when you log a call and when it is resolved, so there is a that the time was around 48 hours. So that came down to 2 hours. So 96% improvement on the average per ticket time. You can see the Walmart. So they are having, they're the actually largest wireless network in the world. For information, they are having around 2.5 lakh access point, 2.5 lakh access point, and 20% of that gets refreshed every year. So 50,000 access points they replace every year. And last, all the upgrades, they were using Cisco earlier, and they replaced those the legacy access points with Mist. So more than a lakh access points are now running on this Juniper Mist thing, right? And they were so happy with our solution that they did a public webinar and they talk about the Juniper technology in that webinar, right? So they dramatically increases the rollout time. So you can understand deploying 50,000 AP in a year, right? Even if so, how many AP you have to deploy per week? So you just think how difficult it is, and we can do it everything automatically, right? Then you come to gap, you can see the site visits. So suppose you have uh, multiple sites, right? You many of the healthcare systems, they are having multiple sites, multiple hospitals, and but you have a central team who runs that entire, manage the IT operations, correct? So you need to visit the sites if something goes wrong. That site visit has reduced 85%. Service now, they reduced 90% in the support ticket. So these are some of the things. And as you can see, the MIT and Dartmouth, those are the two educational institutes who use this, who are using our network, and they're extremely happy about this entire solutions, right? Then why they are going for, why the world's largest enterprises, the best education institutes, the healthcare providers, they are going for Mist? What is something different, which is fundamentally different than the existing one? So there are five things to it. So which are fundamentally different than uh, what the current uh, current vendors can provide you. First thing is that client level visibility, right? So in client level visibility, what we are doing, we in the Mist, we are taking 150 parameters, Wi-Fi parameters from your network, and we are observing what is the experience of the client, client every minute, 150 parameters. And these are all your uh, no user data is being taken here. These are only your the headers information we are taking, and we are giving you the best kind of experience. So first thing is that your the service levels. I will show you, maybe a couple of minutes I can spend, what are the things you can measure on your network and how you can uh, uh, do it better, right? So as I said earlier, on the proactive part of it, so we do it, everything is a proactive basis from the AI driven operations and support. So on the AI driven operations, we are collecting 150 states for every client. For example, whether the DHCP is good or not, whether the DNS connection is good or not, whether the coverage is good, right? Whether they're getting good coverage. So all those things we are collecting, and we are giving in one window for your entire enterprise. Then the third thing is that uh, the micro, again coming back to the AI driven operations, let me give you one example. Suppose your network is having, say, 1000 access points, right? So what with the AI, what we are doing is that, as if we are deputing 1000 network engineers beside every access points, right? So whenever anything goes wrong, my AI and ML system, they are collecting data and they are keeping it ready for the root cause analysis. If anything goes wrong, even before the client complains, you have the data ready. That's what the AI driven operations is doing it for you. I can show you on my the presentation. After this, I do this presentation if I have few minutes on that. Next is the microservices cloud for agility. So this is basically, we are not using the old controller based solution. This is what the clean slate comes in, and everything is written on microservices. So this is like your Netflix for the networking. When you use a movie, when you see a movie on Netflix, does it go ever down? Is Netflix down? New movies are coming in, right? But your Netflix doesn't go down. How this operates? This operates using the microservices. So your services doesn't go down, but you can add new features. Same thing we are doing. Your network doesn't go down, but we add new features every we every 2 weeks. Now earlier we were doing it every weeks. Now we are doing it every fortnight. The new software comes in, new feature comes in, and you are having the things are, everything is taken care. For example, when that one of the virus came in, that's a crack virus which came a year back, and this was covered for all our Mist customers. The patch was deployed for all Mist customers worldwide within 48 hours. Now you imagine this is to be done for Cisco or Aruba or any other the controller based, what they'll do, they will send you an email and they will say, this is what my patch is. You apply the patch, right? Applying the new software, they may come up with a new software. I don't know whether they will be able to come up in 48 hours or not. I'm sure if it is not a microservices based architecture, if it is a legacy thing, coming up with a new patch takes much longer time. For example, you will see they will come up with a new software version maybe every 6 months to every year, not 6 months to 1 year they take to come up with a new thing. And we do it every 2 weeks. You can understand the difference, right? And the fourth thing is digital engagement using a virtual BLE. So what we are doing is that we are each of the AP, we are loading it with a 16 directional antenna, which provides you a, double coverage. You can, using this antenna, you can do a lot of digital engagement for example, asset tracking, right? You can do indoor thing I talked about you. So you have seen that in the Gartner we are positioned in the visionary, right? At the furthest right. So because of this solution, the BLE based solution, which you are doing it, and we can track any solution, you can have a indoor Google like experience. Even some hospitals, they have deployed a Uber like app to call the wheelchair will come to your exact location within a meter, and this can gives you a visibility of like accurate location accuracy of up to couple of meters. All other OEMs, whoever is providing such solution, what they will do, they will do a overlay network. They will use battery operated beacon. So additional things are required. Additional infrastructure is required. You need a manual calibration to do that. And in our case, you don't need any other additional devices. Your AP itself will do it. You only need an additional license to enable that feature, right? So this is what the fourth thing was. And then we covered all four things. And then the fifth thing is the open API. So what we are doing this, we are 100% API driven. No CLI, no SNMP. It is not that we are taking some input from SNMP or CLI and then building API on top of that. So in that, what happens? Even if your some of the competition, they can say yes, we are also API driven, but they are not 100% API driven because they are taking the input from either CLI or from the SNMP. Our solution is 100% API driven, and it's a API first. Whatever thing we do, everything we do, it goes to the API first, and that's how we build our user interface. So if you want to do anything new in your network to address your business requirement, things API is available from day one. Your IT team can build it and as per your business requirement, and you can go it like that. So these are five things which are fundamentally different from any other Wi-Fi vendors available in the market today, right? So any questions, you can may please put it in the chat window. We will come up in the towards the last. And this is my last slide. So till now, whatever we talked about is about the Wi-Fi solution. But it is not only Wi-Fi. We are giving you a client to cloud, the entire coverage, the visibility end to end, right? So as you can see, everything is becoming AI driven. So my colleague Srikar will cover that the WAN part of it in far more details, the SD-WAN part and in more details. But just to give you a overview of these solutions, we acquired Mist, and then we acquired two more companies which will be covered by Srikar. One is that 128 technology for SD-WAN and your uh, for data center management and operations and design. We built another company called Abstra. So that and everything is now coming, getting driven by the Mist AI. So if any call, if any user is having suppose a Zoom call or maybe this webinar we are doing it, and if the experience is not good for any customer or any of the users, we can pinpoint who is responsible for that. Is it Wi-Fi? Is it the wired network? Is it because of some issue with the DNS? Is it your internet bandwidth? Or it is some problem with the application. So we are having the entire end-to-end view of the network using our cloud native AI driven and session smart network, right? And this is how we are delivering you the network for the next decade, right? So let me show you. I don't think how much time I can spend. 5 minutes maybe I will take for to just give you this. So basically this is where you go, manage.miss.com, and then you log in, right? This will be your user interface will look like when you buy mist. And it can miss this can this uh, user interface or this portal can manage 5 AP, 10 AP to 10,000 AP, even more than a lakh AP for Walmart. This is getting managed by this. So I am going into this live demo, which is a Juniper office. I'll show you that how it looks like. This is my office, right? And this is your monitor uh, place. And if you go to this, this is giving you today's data, and you can change it to say 11 last 7 days. So you are getting it data for the 7 days. You will have vision for the wireless. If I just from this I went to the wireless, and as I told you, there are 150 parameters we are collecting, right, for every client every minute, and that is getting summarized by this. And we are giving you 7 things, I think. Yes, so these are the things we are giving you. How much time you are taking, what how many clients are getting successfully connected, how is the coverage, right, how is the roaming experience. So these are the things we are. And the best thing is that you can set a service level expectation. We call it SLE. So what it is simply is that this is what the experience factor comes in. We are measuring how much time it takes for a client to connect. So we have taken a goal of 2 seconds. So this chart shows that 84% of the clients are successfully connecting within 2 seconds. It is not that others are not connecting. They are, as you can see, they are connecting little more. Some are even taking 20 seconds to connect, right? As you can see, the furthest right, they're taking 20 seconds, 18 to 20 seconds to connect. But in ordinary network, what will be that the network will say, yeah, it is good, they're connecting, but it is not. They're taking extremely long time, and users are getting frustrated. And you can measure the whether the users are getting good experience or not. Suppose you take the coverage. So what we have set a coverage of say 66 dBm. This is my goal. So how many clients are getting 66 dBm coverage? 89%, right? But if you say no, 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 I want my network to be even better, I want so 60 dBm coverage. So in that case, what happens if we change that? As you can see, if you move it from here to here, uh, see it is reducing to 58%. As you can see, 58% or 77% for 60 dBm. For 60 dBm is 70. And if you no, no, I'm okay with 72 dBm, right? I don't need so much. So in that case, 95% of your clients are getting more than a negative 72 dBm coverage. So this is the power of AI and ML, which is giving you uh, what kind of experience each of the users are having in your network. You can measure it, you can see it. These are all real-time data. You can take another example, throughput. So you set a goal, my every client should get 20 Mbps of throughput. This is my goal, right? So as you can see, only 40% are getting this much bandwidth. But if I say no, 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 I am happy with say 10 MB. Okay, from 20 I make it 10 Mbps. So if 10 Mbps is my goal, in that case 82% users are happy. They are getting more than 10 Mbps, as you can see it here. Can you? I hope you can see this whatever is shown in the screen. So this is the one which is the user experience part. Another thing, I will not take much time, otherwise I will keep on going. If any of you are interested, and if you are serious to see in further details, you can get in touch with your whoever is your IT service providers, and they in turn can get in touch with us, or you can get in touch with our account manager. uh, so you can do a demo at your premises. We can do a live demo. We can put your if you, it was a very large requirement, we can put live devices and you can see the experience, how it is different from the existing one, right? And on the same thing, you can have, we have something called Mervis. This is our natural language. You can write who are the unhappy users, right? Who are unhappy users. So you can write simple English like this, right? And it says the status of the client live demo during today. So I want to see not today but for the last say 7 days. So you will know. So these are the unhappy users you are having in this, right? And for example, if you just click here, you go to the insights, right? You go to the insights, and it will take you to that particular users, right? And you have so many bad event has happened. 494 bad events has happened for this, and right, authentication failure. So these kind of bad events are happening for this particular client, as you can see in this, right? And in this you will get your user data, like as I was saying, for everything there is a sniffer, it will be available, and you will, for every bad event, you will have your the dynamic packet capture ready for analysis. And this is your location service. You have location things which I was talking about, the digital engagement, right? All those things, your switches, your gateway, everything you can manage it from here. And we also have something called the Mervis action. This is your, we call it coffee cup view of the entire enterprise. Even if you have say 1,000 locations, 100 locations, this will give you how many problems you are having at this point of time, right? Even if there is a bad cable problem, so layer one is a bad cable, it can identify a bad cable in your network. Any problem with the AP, any problem with the switch, any problem with the gateway, right? So everything you can have a look the entire organization wise for this network. So I hope this has given you a glimpse of what Juniper and Mist brings to your table. And if you want to see further details, you can please get in touch with us, and we'll do a further deep dive for you. I request Srikar to take over and talk about the other solutions components which Juniper is providing.
Thank you, Malay. Good afternoon, audience. And my name is Shrikar. Uh, I am the senior systems engineer from Juniper Networks. I'm based out of Mumbai, and I am handling large enterprise customers as well as for large infrastructure customers as well. Okay, so let me minimize my, yeah. So I hope you are able to see my screen. Just going with the flow, what Malay has explained you about the AI-driven enterprise. So, so Malay was focusing much on the uh, Wi-Fi piece of thing. Okay, let me take it from here. So we have AI-driven enterprise. What is the definition of AI-driven enterprise for us? So it is uh, we consider a journey of a user from client to cloud, and all these elements are in the middle, and they start with some wireless access layer or wired access layer, and then there is a WAN layer, and then there are data centers or the service micro multi-cloud applications hosted on the cloud. And this client to cloud journey, and if there is any issue in any piece of element, okay, it affects and impacts the experience of the user. So what we are trying to simplify here is that with our AI engine, which is called as Mist, we have integrated the Mist AI engine in all our network stack, all our solutions, starting from wireless, which Malay explained on the Mist AP. We also have this integrated with our wired switching, Juniper EX, and then with our WAN. So SD-WAN. So this is what my topic is for today, the session smart networking. And then we have the vision to integrate with our data center network gears as well. This is a work in progress, but the main objective of this is to simplify operations and enable the IT team to be so agile and so efficient that they can contribute to business outcomes directly. So, taking ahead on this, as you said, the true north for Juniper Networks is the experience. And gone are the days while we, as a network administrator or the operations team, when I say we, I'm talking with as a customer perspective, that we have been seeing or monitoring devices, how many devices are up, how many APs are up, how many switches are up, or is my WAN gateway link is up, or the WAN gateway is up. And with that we try to understand or try to correlate my network is functioning well, but that is not the truth. Actually what happens is, even though the things are green, even though the things are up and running, but the users are facing challenges. The users are not getting the same level. Maybe there is congestion in the network, maybe there are loop happening in the network, maybe there are errors and retransmissions, or a lot many things underlying happening, that is actually impacting every minute, every second of the experience of the user. It is the time of experience to measure the experience. And what we have done is we have tried to measure the user experience based on application, which is the end customer, end user. Maybe you as a IT team are providing services to your other functions and departments in your organization, and they are the application users. But you as IT team are the operational team, and they also have some experience since they have to manage the network. And so that is what we try to amplify both of this experience, and we are measuring this as Malay showed in his slide, the service level expectation. We are trying to capture multiple states, and we with our AI engine and machine learning algorithms, we are trying to make some meaningful answers to the problems that we see before even the users actually complain about it. So with this in mind, let me take you to the journey of SD-WAN. Okay, while SD-WAN, we all know, has been here for few years now, and many of you and many of us of amongst us have adopted SD-WAN. While SD-WAN has helped us actually reducing our cost, earlier we were using the private MPLS, which is actually taking a lot of money for us to access applications. And the beauty that SD-WAN brought us with us is that some application awareness amongst it, and we were able to do some local breakout of some application and choosing the less cost effective, less cost broadband internet links or the LTE links. And we moved certain applications to the cloud, and with the SaaS model, and a lot of we have been able to get saving. So things have helped us, the first generation SD-WAN. But as we are going ahead, the things have to be evolved further. The SD-WAN must evolve further to simplify operations. So, what we expect from SD-WAN is to, rather than just giving the benefits, it has to also enable the IT team uh, to simplify operations, uh, not only focusing on the networks and applications rather than focusing on the user experience. Now, whether the user is connected and the branch is connected, but the branch is not functioning properly, the users are complaining, that does not help in any case for the solution. So that is the first aspect. The other aspect is the manual operations. So so long we have been pretty much engrossed in manual operations. I understand ZTP is a primary solution from SD-WAN players, but manual operations are still needed for troubleshooting tickets, for planning about how we have to come up with a site and the new things, and then manually sending teams actually to at customer premises to your end user to see where the problem is. this siloed approach of network, whether the problem is at the Wi-Fi, whether the problem is at the wired, whether the problem is at the WAN, needs to be taken care and needs to bring in a integrated single umbrella where we can just with a click of a button can be able to know where the problem is and how we can solve that. So this is the vision that we have taken, and this is what we are now giving as a solution to most of our customers. So as you know, Juniper, when we say, as Malay started with our introduction in 1996, we have been the player who uh, uh, started as a service provider. We manufactured the biggest router to start with in 1996, and then that was the reason we were very favorite in the telco segment, in the service provider segment, and we have been the understanding of the WAN stack and the routing stack is hands down we are the best in that. And with the integration with MIST, what we have done is the understanding of AI and ML. We have applied a lot of data science and all this rich understanding to resolve, to simplify the operations. And with modern microservices cloud, we are able to have high uptime. Irrespective of what size of organization you are, you have one AP, two AP, three AP, or lakhs of AP in your organization spread across, uh, no worries. So with the microservices cloud is agile enough and secured enough that it is taking care of that. Now with this, what we have done is early 2020, in 2020 we acquired another company called as 128 technology, which are which had some very new approach towards SD-WAN, and they were doing session smart routing, and we have, and it's completely application aware. And what we have done is with the Juniper rich routing stack with the Mist, and then we have integrated it with the Session Smart networking, and which is completely secured and service centric approach. And what we are now ready with is a AI driven SD-WAN. It is self-driving, so you do not have to spend time in building it is very easy to deploy, and it has all the security element integrated. It is deny by default, so it's completely secured, and it's tunnel free. And the best part is we are able to use the experience based AI ops for this SD-WAN. Now you may have further questions of what we do differently. So just give me a moment and I will able to walk you through for how we do differently. So Session Smart Networking supports all type of business models. Whether it may be pharmaceuticals, whether it may be manufacturing, whether it may be retail customers, or service providers as well. So managed service providers are also equally able to take this solution to their end customers and fulfill their requirement. So Session Smart networking not only helps in meeting the SD-WAN requirement, but also helps addressing the multi-cloud use cases, the IoT use cases, and the managed services use cases. So uh, how we differentiate here? So Session Smart Networking is completely a software kind of a stack, which has a lot of supported by third party or white box CPs or universal CP, or we have our own Juniper CP, and it gives a lot of flexibility to end customers. And since it's tunnel free, so scale is not a limit. So we do not have to get stuck with the legacy protocols of tunnels and make and bring bigger boxes at the central location and follow rigid architecture of hub and spoke topology. No, it is no more required. So these are legacy SD-WAN architectures. We are free, so you can have of create any of your architectures as you wish, as your network demands, and we do not have to have central heavy boxes. The other aspect is we are already present on the multi-cloud, Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, and this actually helps meet all requirements of customers who wants to resolve their complex network architectures and want to simplify with the help of this AI-driven SD-WAN. So just double clicking a bit on the SD-WAN here. So, so as I said, the legacy tunnel-based SD-WAN architectures were meant for physical connectivity of endpoints. Usually, the tunnel-based approach, which is the IPsec tunnels, are actually they were invented some 2 decades back, and they are still used here. So they were never designed to complement an SD-WAN solution. It is just as an industry standard, SD-WAN players have adopted the IPsec tunnel approach. Now, there is nothing wrong in approach taking that, but the problem with IPsec tunnels is that it creates a lot of overhead. It adds a lot of overhead. While it brings security to you, but it adds a lot of overhead and then weighs you down on the scale. So whenever you have an IPsec head-end box, uh, the the number of tunnels it can carry decides how much cost you have to pay for that box. And the more large bigger your network is, the bigger the box you have at the central site. And yeah, this is the challenge. Now what we do here is that since we have all sizes of wide box solution, universal CPU solution, Juniper CPU solution, it really simplifies and makes easier for you to manage your entire setup. We have a session smart conductor, which is the central orchestrator or a dashboard, which actually gives you a single place where you can manage and monitor and push policies to all your devices. And then it is dynamic. When we say dynamic, it can have a sub-second failures. Now when I say sub-second failures, I mean sub-second failures, because we are not playing with tunnels here. And bringing up and bringing down an IPsec tunnel is the phase one, the phase two, and whatnot. It is very um, uh, technologically legacy. So we are very fast here, we are very lean, and we support real-time applications. The VoIP calls, they never break. If they are moved from one link to the other, the link goes down, they never break. And then the scale and speed, we are able to increase your uh, uh, branch network footprint at very large high speed. And then the scale is never an issue, so you do not have to rethink and redesign your solution considering how many number of branches you have today. You do not have to do that. Or how many number of branches you will scale tomorrow. No maths required. You just have to be focused on how much bandwidth you have and how much bandwidth you may require at this site. Maybe it's a central site or it's a branch site, and basis on the bandwidth you just consider the box best for your requirement. And that's it. That's the only piece of number that you will require to design this solution. Last but not the least, it is secure. When I say secure, it's even though we are not doing the IPsec method, we are following all highest level encryption standard. And each router, each SSR device we have is completely secured. And since it runs on sessions, you have to permit everything. Without permitting, it does not it is permit, it is denied by default. So the network is completely secure. So while you may be thinking, if I am not doing tunnels, so what is the benefit for me? So tunnels, as you know, whenever anything goes in the tunnel, you lose the visibility. You do not see anything what is going in the tunnel, the things. And the challenges for tunnel, the other aspect of tunnel is that uh, it is not application aware. So it is from branch to head end or branch to branch or whatever architecture you may choose. But if the traffic goes in the tunnel, it is just you do not see it. The other challenge with tunnel is that it does encryption for everything and everything. So whatever that goes in the tunnel gets encrypted, no matter if it's already an encrypted traffic, it still gets re-encrypted. So the challenge here is that how I can have more application visibility. Now, since we are talking about a session smart networking here, all our routers are designed and for this generation and the next decade, what Malay was talking about, they are application aware. They understand applications and they route traffic based on sessions and not packets. Now, how they do it on sessions? So they understand sessions, and once you understand sessions, you can understand your application, you can understand everything, and you can give priorities to the sessions that are more important for you, and prioritize the traffic that more important for you, and route the traffic the way you want. You do not have to put them in tunnel. Once the traffic goes in the tunnel, you lose the visibility. And what we are doing is we are giving a tunnel free solution. So when I say a tunnel free solution, you reclaim 30 to 50% of your lost bandwidth. I repeat, you reclaim 30 to 50% of your lost bandwidth. And with that, we give you improved encryption efficiency. When we say improved encryption efficiency, I have what we support is adaptive encryption. So we do not encrypt the same traffic again. So 80% of your traffic in today's in your network is already encrypted. What we do here is that if it is already encrypted, we don't do the same thing again, saving time and improving user experience. The other advantage of going tunnel free is that you do away with retransmission and TCP problems. So a lot of retransmission happens because the IPsec overhead which is added on each packet, and every time you add an overhead to the original IP packet, the size increases, and maybe due to the MTU it gets chopped into two pieces, and then the other side device has to reassemble this and then send it to the end machine. So while this looks simple, but assuming there is a lot of traffic coming in, it always add a delay to the end user, and that actually creates a lot of experience issue for the end user. So we are also able to do away with that. The last advantage what we bring to the table is to eliminate complexity. Now, if you are an IT engineer, and just keep your hand on your heart and say, how are you expert in troubleshooting an IPsec issue? Now, phase one, troubleshooting a phase one problem, troubleshooting a phase two problem has been a nightmare for many of us, no matter you are a JNCIE or a CCIE level guy, but it always creates a problem. And the best way to solve a IPsec issue is to just match your configurations and both end and put it, and just keep your finger crossed everything works, and everything may work. But troubleshooting IPsec is always a challenge, and we have removed that complexity completely, and we have simplified operations. So when we say simplified operation, your IT team can now just trace packets end to end from one user to the other user who is sitting on some other branch, maybe a remote branch, and you have multiple hops in between, and you can take a complete trace of packet from source to end destination, and seeing where sessions are, how they are moving across the routers, and how many routers are in between, and about that. So this also simplifies your life. So so while I say that we have helped customer reclaim their bandwidth, this is the proof point here. So this output is from one of our customers, uh, uh, and they have been able to reduce 67% of their bandwidth consumption after they switch to 128, the session smart networking. Now, this is how the dashboard looks like when you log in into the conductor, the session smart conductor. We have all the details. You get all the link latency information. You have the bandwidth and the session information and everything. So one place, and you have all the details. And again, as the MIST portal, this is completely API driven. You can integrate this with any of your system and can get all the insights in directly integrate with your ticketing system or anything else, whatever you feel. So while I see that I have run short of, I just require 2 minutes or 3 minutes of your more. Okay, this is a recorded demo. It's not a live demo. It's a recorded demo. So before we go into the demo, let me. So as Malay was explaining the service level expectation, that was for Wi-Fi piece. So we have the same SLEs, okay, which actually helps the SD WAN to works as a AI-driven WAN. So these are the experience. SLEs that we have captured, and we continuously monitor them. So they are at the device layer, and device layer, which is the SSR, the session smart router, and then at the WAN link layer, and then at the application layer, what are application and which applications are having problem. And with the help of WAN assurance is our subscription for the AI driven WAN. This is the subscription. And then the Marvis, what Malay explained, you can it is the AI brain. It can give you fast answers and a lot of correlations at the back end. While you hear the name Marvis, you may recollect something about Iron Man. It is inspired from the name Jarvis, but it's not voice enabled. It's neural NLP, as shown to you earlier. You can just type in your command. So this is a small demo which I will just voice over to you. So once you go into the WAN inside, you can see there are three SLEs here. The gateway SLE, gateway health. This actually measures the device, how much percentage uptime it has, and how many times it has impacted the user experience. Then we have the WAN link, WAN health link. This is your WAN links, actually how many numbers are there and how they are impacting, whether there is challenge in that and how they are impacting the end user. And this is the application health, whether it's a team application or a Zoom application, what all applications got impacted while all this happened. So while we clicked on the application health, we see there are contributing factors: loss, jitter, and latency. We see latency as the bigger factor here, which is affecting some type of applications. Now we will try to see the affected items which are there here. Now we see that there are certain applications: Zoom, YouTube, Slack, MS Team. These are affected by this latency. But whose application is affected? So we go into the client and we see here that there is a user called as Abhi who has a problem. So before we go ahead, so just we can see that there is some um, in Marvis action, we have some recommendation for Marvis that you have a WAN uplink issue, you have a bad cable issue. This is under the gateway, by the way. So we are monitoring the gateway perspective. Now we can see what all applications are getting impacted due to this. Now this is the conversational interface where we just type the username, and he was having a problem with Teams call. And now here we have, now this is for your eyes. Whatever we are seeing, now this is the MacBook of Abhi's, and there is a abnormally high latency on the gateway, and we see the MacBook is okay. There is some remark on the access point. The switch is okay, but there is some remark on the gateway as well. Now we see there was some non-Wi-Fi interference on the AP, but we see that there was some major remark on the router. And so this is what it is. So what we are trying to say is we are trying to change the entire landscape, and nobody in the industry is doing this, trust us. And if you want to simplify your operations, please invite us and we can add value to in your meeting. So while before we jump into the Q&A, I would like to thank all of you. And these are our coordinates. You can reach out to Sudhakar, who is the account manager, and Malay, as Malay, the first session taken by Malay, and myself, Shrikar. So thank you all, and we can move to the Q&A. Vishnu?
Yeah, any questions? Uh, yeah, I can see
Let's
one of the
take up
questions here.
let's take up few questions in the chat. We have some questions.
Yes, okay, okay, fine. So, so one of the question is, uh, how much, like with the tunnelless SD-WAN, how much bandwidth saving is possible, right? So that was one of the question which came up. So since we are not using any of the tunnels, SD-WAN tunnels or GRE tunnels, which has it overheads, so we have a lot of saving on that. So saving will depend on the kind of application you are using. So if you are using very large packet kind of application, you will have less saving. And if you are having so many small packets you are sending, for example any VoIP traffic and all, or any video traffic, then you will have more saving. So the saving will be in the range of 30 to 50% compared to your legacy SD-WAN solution, which are tunnel based SD-WAN. If you move from tunnel based to tunnel-less, which is 128 technology, you will have your bandwidth saving of basically you are gaining back which your bandwidth, which Srikar was showing, which will be in the range of 30 to 50%. Okay. Next question is I can see, can we deploy SD-WAN controller on-prem or it's cloud-based? Okay, so to answer this, the controller can be deployed in various ways. There are three options. One is that you can deploy it on the cloud, so that is available on the cloud marketplace like AWS, Azure, so you can buy it from there. You can do it on-prem, so on a normal is x86 box, you can deploy it bare metal server, or you can deploy it on a VM. So you have all three options: cloud, VM, bare metal. Right? Hope this answers this question. And the third question I can see, what are the solution components of Juniper Mist AI? Why, and what are the solution component for Juniper network for the next decade? This is again a good question. So what do you buy when you go for a, suppose you decide, yes, this is fine, I want to go for the next network for the next decade. What are the solution component? You can start with as simple as few access points. So access points are the one missed access point. So you'll buy only access point you can add with your existing network, right? You just need a PoE power to connect that and internet connection, and you can start a small. And once, so many of our customer did like this, they gone ahead with only AP, and when they're happy with that, you can add your network switches for the wired part. If you are happy with that, you can add your gateway, right? Which Srikar was discussing. And if you want to connect all your branches, then you can go and connect your branches using the 128T technology. So your branch will cover. And the next is your data center. So you can go for the data center manage. You have data center switching portfolio as well, which is not covered because of the time. So we can deploy in your data center network, and you can manage it using Abstra, which we acquired last year. So and then for the connectivity to the cloud, we have security solutions like uh, uh, connected security solutions. So one is that the VSRX and CSRX, container based SRX. So very few in the industry is having this container based firewall as on today, as well as a virtual firewall, which you can deploy at any of the VMs. So this is how, and you can have a connection to the cloud as well. So from client to cloud, you can have a gradual journey in this, and there is no other for running a Wi-Fi, you need other like Wi-Fi controllers, and maybe on top of that you add more other solution. For management, you need something. So everything is cloud-based. Don't need any other thing. So you can start with Wi-Fi, and then you can gradually move into other solution components. Hope this answers this question. What are the solution component? So I don't see another question, so we can close it. So we're a little overdone with the time. Sorry for that.
Yes, let's conclude. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you everybody. Have a good day. Yeah.